I saw a little bit about this. This was crazy. This happened earlier today.
Bernard Zapper, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I want to get your thoughts, your insights now as we're watching a very active scene unfold.
Yeah,
this is
like a 20-year-old person,
scene
right?
where we believe at this point in time we haven't gotten any updates from
they
authorities.
killed 2 firefighters.
There are possibly
what fucking idiot kills firefighters?
The main thing is eliciting information from the community and local law enforcement to start zeroing in on the possibilities of this and just breaking it down. And that's unfolding. In terms of the fire suppression, obviously, if they're going to a new area and where this thing
I'll see
started.
What the update is about the person who
I'm
did
sorry
it.
to interrupt.
Yeah, they just cut his ass off. And let's see if I can find it. So this is so they killed his ass.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. 2 firefighters killed and 1 injured in an ambush while responding to a brush fire in Idaho. And we are now learning officials found the suspected
He killed himself?
dead.
Hey. At least he did one thing right.
Weapon also discovered near his body. We are going to bring you the very latest on this investigation throughout the morning.
Meanwhile, our other top story over on Capitol Hill in just a few hours. The Senate set to kick off a vote-a-rama.
Who the fuck kills firefighters?
After debating the bill overnight, but after months of going back and forth, will Congress be able to meet the president's July 4th deadline? You're watching Fox and Friends First here on a Monday morning. I am Todd Pyro.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you all. And I'm Carly Shimkus. And we begin this morning in Idaho,
where as
we said, 2 firefighters were killed, and according to officials, at least 1 other firefighter is still in the hospital after being caught in the crosshairs of gunfire.
The Kootenai County Sheriff giving an update overnight on what they know so far.
Yeah, we believe, based on the information that we've been able to collect, that we believe that there was only 1 shooter. We do believe that the suspect started the fire and it was intentional. There are law enforcement personnel that are up there, and we will conduct the investigation.
It's really sad whenever something like this happens because, it's like now as a firefighter, I mean, you're always going to be a little bit more on edge whenever you're working. And, so instead of your head being 100% in the game, it's like 95% in the game. This is, new fear unlocked. Exactly.
Continue it tomorrow morning. This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
A former homicide detective and retired chief of detectives Brian Foley joins us now to discuss. Brian, great to have you here in person.
Morning.
What are investigators doing right now to, 1, figure out why this happened, but 2, to make sure the area is all clear, make sure that there are no booby traps left behind?
Well, so what they want to know is what you said, the motive and did he act alone. So right now, cops are applying for search warrants for cell phone records, computer records, search warrants for his residence, vehicles, everything.
DeviantArt profiles,
to search his body.
probably a furry.
It's a good move that they did move the body. There'll be an autopsy. The autopsy is going to go a long way of the suspect to determine whether or not he acted alone, and this was indeed a suicide. Gunshot residue on his hands. If he pulled the trigger himself, if he killed himself, that'll show the closeness of proximity of where the barrel of the firearm was to his body when he killed himself. That'll determine whether he acted alone.
Oh yeah,
the motive.
That's somebody shooting.
Most of the motive is going to come out of the search and seizure warrants. based on his footprints and social media, his footprints on where his cell phone was, where he traveled. Very interesting investigation. I think it was a great move for them to move the suspect's body prior to the fire getting to him, because that kept your GSR, your gunshot residue, with him in the autopsy to determine whether he was indeed a suicide.
That's one of the ways that they can tell, by the way. So, if you, one of the ways that the police can decide whether a person is able, shot themselves or was killed, is the, I think it's the gunpowder, and there's residue that the bullet leaves. There's blood splatter. Yeah, sure. I just don't know enough about that. But I know about that for sure. The trajectory. Yeah, powder burns. Exactly.
The call was placed by a Kootenai County deputy while these events were unfolding. Listen here.
Any day now.
Oh, we don't have that.
Oh, we don't have that, but I will say what he said. We have an emergency situation taking place in the district area. There's an active shooter at a fire. There's potentially 2 battalion chiefs down. If you put yourself in the perspective of these firefighters going to an emergency situation completely unaware that these events were going to be unfolding with a gunman gunning them down. So do you think this person that was found dead near the scene started the fire, shot these firefighters, and then shot him?
He and his parents are Trump supporters? Well, okay. Do you think that, like, now I'm like, oh, man, oh, no. Wait, one of our guys did this? Wait, I think he's innocent. Guys, I think he's innocent. Oh, no. It's a guy that agrees with me politically. That means he didn't actually do the shooting. Oh, of course. Wow, oh my God, no, he got set up by the deep state. It's George Soros paid him to make a false flag to make Donald Trump look bad, so he's gonna make everybody transsexual and gay. Go back to Twitter, you fucking retard.
I do. I look at 2012 in Webster, New York, a very similar type of situation. The guy set his house on fire and his car on fire. He shot 4 firefighters upon their arrival, fatally killing 2. This is a very eerily similar situation. Fire departments, when they're responding since 9/11, have been extra cautious, but they're really not looking for this. But I can tell you, these are first responders killed in the line of duty. You'd think every investigation is handled the same. It doesn't matter who the victim is. But we all know the truth is a little different. When you kill a cop, when you kill a fireman in the line of duty, all the resources are coming.
You pull aggro. Like, anybody who played GTA knows that.
Federal, local, state, and they're all going to be pushed into this investigation. They'll be able to determine very quickly as to whether he did act alone and what that motive was. If there's a manifesto, hopefully kicking around somewhere, that'll tell us why he did what he did.
To that point, we had a similar tragedy in Connecticut a few years ago that you know all too well. In that instance, it was police officers that were killed in Bristol, but it was an ambush. It was an ambush nonetheless. What leads someone to ambush any first responder like this?
Mental illness.
Triggered, all right?
Mental illness. That's what it is every single time. I think all of the people in all of these shooters are mentally ill. And I think actually a lot of the gang shooters are also mentally ill, but the mental illness they have is manifested differently. So, like, really, and this is the problem, is that but I think that we have a tremendous amount of leeway that we give to people who exhibit symptoms of antisocial violent behavior. And I think that the problem is that if you don't socialize those people and you don't hold them accountable for their behavior, they turn into Carmelo Anthony's, or they turn into this fucking retard, right? That's it. We're in an extreme global mental health crisis. We are. This is a massive mental health crisis. And also keep in mind, this is happening in Europe too. In Europe, they're using guns and cars, knives and cars, but they're still doing the same thing. This is something that's happening all over the Western world. And I mean, I don't know what's happening like in, China, right? Who knows? But like, I know that in Europe, this is a problem. In America, it's a problem, etc. Maybe just ban guns. Well, then people just drive cars through crowds, like in Germany. Like every month, there's somebody who drives a car through a crowd in Germany. Like, yes, obviously. And also, by the way, I'm not going to ban. I would rather run the risk of getting shot and be able to protect myself with a gun. The only people that want to ban guns are people who think that they're never going to need to protect themselves with a gun. If somebody breaks into your house, the only thing that you can do is protect yourself with a gun. I know you might think that you're a kung fu master, but when 3 guys show up and one of them has a bat or a stick or something like that, and it's at night and you're not ready for it, you're dead, man. You're dead. There's no way that you're going to come out ahead unless you have a gun. It doesn't matter if you're Bruce Lee.
So now something happened in their life for them to get triggered. If you look at what happened in Bristol, they got pulled over by the cops. So what happened in this man's life to make him want to go after firefighters? That's odd. I always think sovereign citizen or someone out there in the that lives in remote areas like that.
I don't think it's a sovereign citizen. They're too young for that. They're only didn't it say this person was only 20 years old? They're way too young for that.
Government. That's just a guess at this point. Again, investigators, you have the feds, you know, when Uncle Sam brings his resources, everything happens pretty quickly. And you could see that happen with the helicopters, with the stuff, the technology they had to find that cell phone. Not a typical ping, you know, where you get a search warrant for somebody and you're pinging that specific one cell phone. No, they had technology to find a signal on its own. That might not work on 6th Avenue here in New York City, but out in that wilderness there, where you can isolate on a single cell phone fairly easily if you have
I think people very, very strongly underestimate the types of technologies and resources that the government has that they can engage if they choose to.
Technology, and it got their
they usually just don't choose to.
Being sent to the scene, Dan Bongino already said on X the FBI is on its way, already there, and assets are headed to the direction of Idaho as well. Really quickly, does this seem like personal vendetta to you?
You mean like he targeted a certain firefighter? No, it doesn't feel like that to me at all. That'd be really.
It's 3 people.
It'd be almost impossible to
make
sure you have that right firefighter based on staffing, when they show proximity,
no, if he was targeting,
calls are going on. No,
if you wanted to target a specific firefighter, he'd know who they are. You can look up their house in public registry and just go to their house and kill them in their sleep. So that's not what it was. I mean, like, obviously you can't apply normal logic to, like, you know, like mass shooter people, because usually they're just stupid. But at the same time, I think that's more likely, right? Like, you know, like that guy that showed up like as the police outfit, that was a smart guy. That guy had his shit planned out, and it took a while to get him. And that was after killing lawmakers, multiple ones.
Seems like he just wanted to go out and make a statement against, feels like, again, against government itself.
Oh, my goodness.
Brian Foley, thank you for joining us on a sad morning, but your insight invaluable. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
There's something sketchy about the whole thing?
I'm Steve Ducey.
You think there's something sketchy about it? I don't know. Like, let me see. This is the. So this is who it is. So we're building up to it, right?
A gut-wrenching story out of Idaho. A procession lining the freeway early this morning in Spokane, Washington, saluting the 2 firefighters who lost their lives during an ambush attack that also sent a 3rd firefighter to the hospital. The as-yet unidentified suspect is accused of starting a brush fire in a northern Idaho mountain range in an effort to lure first responders into a trap, where he then acted as a sniper to shoot at them.
I mean, I'm the kind of person that there are, like, so people of a political affiliation doing violence are different than people doing violence because of political affiliation. Like, these are 2 very different things.
He arrived on scene to fight the blaze. The suspected gunman was found hours after the shooting by police in a wooded area with a weapon near his body. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, here with my co-host Harris Faulkner. And also joining us today, Marie Harf, Fox News contributor and former State Department spokesperson under President Obama.
Yeah, they found who it is.
Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 New York anchor and host of the Underground Economy.
It's unlikely that it's political if you're shooting firemen. They're like, firemen are not politicized really in any way. So, I mean, you always, and there's also, like, you have to keep in mind that inside of the mind of a crazy person, things that might seem normal to you are intensely political to them. So, like, for example, do you remember that guy that blew up the IVF facility because he was an antinatalist and he thought that all humans should die? There are, like, levels of, like, political delusion that exist that transcend normal Overton window conversations. And so, like, you can't rule that out.
On Fox Nation, and John Yoo, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, UC Berkeley law professor, and former Justice Clarence Thomas law clerk.
He also blew himself up.
Now first, let's go to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, live on the ground in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with the latest. Jonathan.
Emily, some breaking news for you via the Associated Press, which is now reporting that law enforcement officials are telling them that the identity of the gunman in this tragic incident is Wes Rowley, as the Associated Press reports it. We believe he is in the region of 20 years old. We do not know anything else about that alleged gun.
We really have to look at why is it that so many young men are turning towards extremism. whether it's extreme communism, extreme red pill, extreme religion, or extreme violence. We really have to look at why this is happening. Like, did you just assume their gender? Yeah. Yeah, 95% of these people are men. You go look at prisons and, oh, look at all the murderers, 95% men. Yeah, this is a guy issue. And white? That's not really true. I mean, like, the thing is that, like, in terms of, like, school shooters, I think that, yeah, a lot of them end up being white. But in terms of all kinds of shooters, no, there's everybody. Look at all the gang shootings there. Those are primarily non-white. No, absolutely not. Like, this isn't a white people bad thing. I think that, honestly, I think that the problem and the existential issue that a lot of these men face, like young men face, like if you're a 19-year-old guy, I think that fundamentally, like at a very core level, a gangbanger in, you know, Chirac is not completely different than an isolated incel in Idaho. I think that, like, in a lot of cases, if you look at both of their lives, it's going to be the same thing. Am I crazy for saying that? A gangbanger? Yeah. Somebody who's going around shooting people for gangs. Yeah, absolutely. What do you want me to call him? Do you want me to call him I don't know, like a good, a promising young man? No. They're awful. They're criminals. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you mean gang member? Oh, gangbanger. I don't know. I think that's an old. Maybe it's an antiquated term. Yeah, a gang member. Like, maybe that's confusing because people usually don't use that term anymore. Yeah, a gang member from one of these gangs, I don't think is completely different from an incel from one of these, like, random schools. I think that if you look at, like, a lot of their life experiences and a lot of it, and you distill it down to, like, base core concepts, I think you will find more similarities than differences.
Point. Meantime, investigators, of course, still trying to piece together everything that happened here. Last night, the bodies of the 2 firefighters who were killed were removed from the mountain here. They were shot dead, having gone to battle a fire around 1:30 p.m. Pacific time in the mountains here, but within minutes of arriving, found themselves instead facing sniper fire.
Disclosed TV posted what appears to be the shooter transitioning. Bullshit. I'm not gonna play that up. I'm not gonna it's a trans person because they have long hair. Get the fuck out of here.
A hidden sniper opening fire on them, prompting a frantic emergency call from another firefighter. Listen here.
We need law enforcement up here immediately. We've got another Coeur d'Alene firefighter down. We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down. I'm pinned down. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
Police, SWAT teams and FBI agents rushed to the scene, around 300 officers in all, and for some time they continued to take sniper fire, with the sheriff saying it was clearly a trap that was set. Listen to the sheriff.
Yeah.
You know, when you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for drones or helicopters to see.
Why are more people violent today than they were decades ago? What's changed in those decades? One of the big reasons why is that there are a lot of tools of socialization that existed in previous cultures that no longer exist in current cultures. So I think that, like, some of the big reasons why that happens, number one, you have a lack of faith, and that is faith inside, and this is a general term, but I am using it primarily in terms of a religion, is that there is no guiding North Star or moral principle of society anymore that really tethers together the moral fabric. And so, like, in a lot of countries, you have a predominant ideology, or at least in America, you have a predominant religion. So that religion, obviously religion can manifest in bad ways, but for most people in most religions, it manifests in good ways, and it acts as an ordering force in their life, and it creates an additional deterrent that keeps them away from doing bad things that exists outside of the corporeal realm as like an existential accountability measure, like going to hell, for example, or, you know, oh, if you die a martyr or something like that, you have like virgins whenever you die or something. There's a million examples of this, but they exist in this facet. So that's number one. Number two is a breakdown in society. So you don't have anymore what are referred to as third places. So, for example, it's bullshit. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. I know that there's a lot of atheists, and I'm an atheist too. I don't think that it's necessary. Like, it's not necessary for me, but you have to be able to think outside of your own mind. Stop thinking from your own decision-making apparatus and start thinking from the mind of another person. So, yeah, stop thinking about how you think and then assuming everybody else thinks like that. And let's see here. How's faith working out in Gaza? I don't know. Why don't you ask the IDF? And so anyway, the fact is that with a lot of or ask Hamas, which again are terrorists. I mean, are we going to act like everybody there is doing that? Like, again, listen, religion has a huge ordering effect of society. And I think that it is a massive, important thing to have for a huge contingency of the population. I know that a lot of people might not like that, but I think that it's true. And I think that to the extent that we have divorced religion from popular culture and society, political dogma, ideology, intersectionality, sexual identity, gender identity has replaced religion. So it's not like we've gotten rid of religion. We've simply replaced religion with somehow an even more retarded version of religion. Somehow Noah's Ark seems a little bit more believable than transitioning and saying that you're a woman means that you can compete against other biological women in sports. Fuck, can we just go back to Noah's Ark? That made more sense. And so anyway, no, I that's the way so that's number one. You have no third spaces. So that means that's like besides work, like you're not going to the skating park anymore. You're not going to a land center. You're not going to church. You're not going to a coffee shop. And so people live inside of these isolated bubbles on the internet that increasingly radicalize them until they pop off like this. That's the reason. And you have also a breakdown of the family structure. Many of these people have absent parents, single parents, or a even worse parental structure. There's a lot of reasons why these things happen. And I think that if you break it down and you look at it, it actually makes a lot of sense. And by the way, those are some of the reasons. I'm giving you some reasons. I can't give you every reason. Somewhere someone's blaming video games. I'm sure somebody has killed somebody else over a video game at some point in time. I just don't really think it's a recurring thing.
So this was a total ambush, taken by surprise.
After several hours, members of a SWAT team discovered the body of a man. He was dead. There was a weapon nearby. And at that point, the sheriff declared that there was no longer a threat. And just to repeat the breaking news, the Associated Press reporting that the shooter has been identified to them by law enforcement officials as a young man called Wes Rowley. As for the condition of the wounded firefighter who was also evacuated from the mountain, he went through emergency surgery last night. The sheriff at that point described him as fighting for his life. We are told this morning that he is in stable condition. One small piece of good news in this terrible tragedy.
Based firefighters.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Rosanna, I cannot imagine a worse scenario than our brave first responders rushing to a fire to put it out and just ambushed, totally unprotected, and now to learn that likely the fire was started to lure them in. It's just abjectly terrifying.
So, Emily, you know, I'm glad they have the suspected gunman in custody.
Well, he did, right?
He's now passed.
Yeah.
I don't care about him. I don't want to know his motive. I don't want to know his name. I don't want to know his background, his childhood, nothing. He killed 2 innocent firefighters who will.
I think that you have to figure out, like, I think reading these people's manifestos, I agree with her perspective. And I would even agree with not showing their faces. But I think understanding who they are and knowing why they did it helps create a profile for other people that do this in the future. Because I'll be honest, I think that a lot of the same people, like it seems pretty easy to profile these people.
Running towards danger. They are unsung heroes.
I see her perspective,
people in that
though.
community
Of course I do.
lined the roadways yesterday as they brought their bodies to the morgue. I don't want to know about this guy. I want to know more about those unsung heroes.
Thanks for 10
That's who I want to know about this morning.
Yeah. Harris, I spoke with a few of my friends there in the Pacific Northwest who are part of the firefighting community, and they are just absolutely devastated and in shock. This is totally unexpected.
Yeah, and when you hear the real-time call for help and that the firefighters on the ground believe that it was set and they were drawn in, I mean, that's so jarring to know that they're taking incoming fire and they're telling the world what they think has happened. If you'll allow me, Emily, I want to save some of my time for you, John.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
Is this domestic terrorism?
We don't know yet. I think what we need to...
I find it to be unlikely that it's domestic terrorism. Terrorism is generally for a political means. Shooting firefighters, it seems unlikely. Yeah, and also, by the way, terrorism is very simple. It's violence for a political means. I don't think that, like, because firefighters are one of the least politicized groups in terms of a government apparatus, I think that making, like, assuming that it's because of them being firefighters, it's terrorism, I think that's just illogical. That's all. And also, like, I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying you shouldn't start with that as a premise.
Have is a full investigation. Unfortunately, we have to know everything about him and his background. In the short term, we need to understand, is it terrorism? Is anybody helping him? Was anybody working with him? That's why the FBI is there, to see if this is part of a larger conspiracy.
Of course they're terrorists.
And then I think we have to figure out ways to punish people like this to stop them, because I totally agree.
Well, he's dead.
We have people rushing in to save people's lives. Now they have to worry about people shooting at them. So we have to figure out ways to deter people from ever doing this in the future.
You can't.
If there are people helping him, he's 20 years old apparently. If his parents should have known, then unfortunately they have to be investigated.
You cannot expect the parents to know. Like, come on.
It reminds me of cases of minors who've had guns and done school shootings.
He's not
and
a minor.
We have had to punish the parents for not reporting them if they've stolen guns, if they shouldn't have had weapons. I think we have to do that kind of full field investigation here too. In the longer run, we have to think about culture. Shouldn't people be condemning the shooter and praising the firefighters?
Right.
Well,
all of that is
We're going to talk, I think, later about people who won't condemn terrible speech. At the very least, our politicians should be able to condemn.
Whoa. What are we doing? Whoa.
This kind of conduct.
Well, and you hit the reason why I asked that question. Are there add-ons legally if it's a certain category of crime? And you're right, it's too soon to know, but you answered that. Yeah, so we know that there will be, depending on what this is.
Yeah, and there's always enhancements that can be put on line and weight and the like. And I note, too, first of all, it's a smaller community there, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's rural. It's a tight-knit community. And the first responder community is still reeling from the loss from the deaths there to the firefighters from the fires a few years ago. So this is a community that is still suffering from that.
Christ.
And then to have an ambush occur, just absolutely defies logic, and it really shocks the conscience, Marie.
Emily, I agree. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Think about what the firefighting community has been through in Idaho.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll pull up this guy and I'll find out and see if there's any information about what's this guy's name. I want to go ahead and look at it. His name is fucking retard. Yeah, I guess so. Man, let's see if there's any information about this. Here's your anti-law enforcement connection. Wes Rowley's father is a member of the Hooligans Outlaw Biker Club. The suspect is shooting, killed 2 Idaho firefighters, and injured is a 20-year-old Wes Foley. Okay, let's see if I can find this. And again, this is all suspected. It's not 100% certain yet. He's had a prior arrest for assault in 2024. The incident involved him allegedly attacking a woman with a knife, in which he was charged with a felony assault with a deadly weapon. He pleaded guilty for misdemeanor assault and received a sentence of 180 days in jail with 150 days suspended. He was ordered to undergo mental health evaluation and complete anger management classes. Social media activity, particularly on X, revealed disturbing content. He posted about his disdain for authority figures, including police and firefighters, and expressed radical views, and posts included threats and general hostility towards society. Additionally, he was known to have made threats against his family, leading to a no-contact order being issued against them. See, this is what I was talking about. This person should have been locked up as soon as they went after a woman with a knife. And then you have you have a person that, like, and these are two, like, this is exactly what I'm trying to talk about, right? Is that this is a person who, went after and tried to stab somebody with a knife, and also has a no contact order with their family. This person should have been locked up in a padded room, and this should have never happened. And now 2 people are dead because of the supposed empathy that we have for psychopathic parasites like this freak. And luckily, he killed himself, so we're not going to have to pay for him to stay in jail for the rest of his life. He did us a favor. But the problem is that there's going to be another one like this, and it's going to happen again. Until people can stop these problems and have the unedited photo. Yeah, this is the person, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, I had hair like this whenever I was, a teenager, kind of, or like 20. Like the photos me, like, I think domestic terror, you think? No, I don't think so. Live press conference happening? Well, I don't know if there's that. Let me see if I can pull it up right now and I'll see it. And so, yeah, same. Yeah, exactly, right. I would have hair like that now, but that's not really the case, I'm sorry to say. And what is this here? Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, I don't know where the rest of the information is on this. So yeah, discover I'm age and not be posting about his family unless I need to. So where is he headed and for how long? This part of mother is really her mom. I don't know where this is here. This is some other bullshit. He has a tree service. Okay, that's not really very relevant. And since it's public, May 2025, mom and new boyfriend take a trip to DC without Wes Foley. I'm thinking this kid might have had problems with mom's new life. All I can tell you is mom is very conservative and just posting facts. So this is like his mom and then, like, I guess like his new stepdad. Okay, wow. And just set a compound in the mountains. Oh my God. His dad is a member of the Hooligans Outlaw. Oh, geez. Wow. And stepfather of the Idaho shooter Wes Foley in a recent trip to Washington, D.C. Oh, boy. And, wow. So this guy, so his parents had a restraining order on him, and he went to jail for attacking someone with a knife. See, I want you guys to see this. This is the kind of person we let run wild in society. This is it. And now 2 people are dead. Many such cases. What could go wrong? Yeah, mental asylum. That's right. Absolutely. And well-adjusted human right there. Yeah, 100% has to stop. The problem is, here's what the problem is. The problem is weaponized and anti-altruistic, selfish empathy. People think that they're being a good person by letting an individual like this live a life of freedom. But what they don't realize is that their life of freedom takes the freedom away from everybody else. And now the entire world and society has to live inside of the threat and the fear of these animals living among us. Until we can recognize problems before they happen, and we can treat them like they need to be treated, we will continue to see these tragedies until we bring back mental asylums and we put people like this away. It's the tolerance paradox. It's not tolerance paradox. It's people doing this because they think it makes them feel good and they think they're being a good person. That's the reason why. Asmongold is trying to radicalize us. If I became president, I would at least triple the amount of people in jail. I would triple the amount of people in jail and I'd force them into labor. We'd solve every problem in society in 6 months. We wouldn't need guardrails in front of subways. We wouldn't need to have everything under glass cases. No, all those people be in jail. And they'd be in mental asylums or somehow locked away. And everybody else can live a life of freedom. Yep. The solution. Vote Asmongold 2028. I'm gonna put everybody in jail. And we're gonna bring back slavery.